Joining us now is Father Jack Wall, the president of Catholic Extension. Thank you so much for being with us.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Kev. Thank you.
Now, you actually have just re-upped on your term at Catholic Extension. You now have signed up for a third 5-year term. And I wanted to talk to you about that and what that means to you and your experience so far with Catholic Extension.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, it means time flies when you're having fun. And it's really been a tremendous adventure these last 10 years of my life, and to be associated with Catholic Extension. It's really one of the great missions of the church here in the United States. I think if there's any great learning I've had is the importance for us as American Catholics to be involved in the evangelization of our own country and our own culture. You know, the message is to go out to the whole world, but it seems like we have a special responsibility to be a source of evangelization and hope and promise in our own country. And you know, Pope Francis has really been encouraging us to seek this spiritual wisdom of something really happens to us when we reach out to the peripheries of our own country and of our own land, and where people are really struggling. And that when we connect in solidarity with them, some very, very good things happen, not just for the people who are in impoverished places, but for all of us. We're all lifted up in the greater sense of we're doing the Lord's work together.
Yeah, and so past 10 years, you've seen a lot in your time at Catholic Extension. Talk about the growth of Mission Diocese and what you've seen in your term.
You know, that's probably the most exciting thing. You know, when you go to the 96 Mission Dioceses here in the United States, first of all, you find a young church. It is unbelievably youth-filled. You know, it's children and teenagers and young adults and young families, and the vibrancy and the enthusiasm that you find in these church communities it's really amazing. It's a poor community. Socioeconomic poverty is a reality. But the wonderful thing that I think about the gift of a faith community and our faith keeps telling us, you know, we're more than our circumstances. There's something else at work in our life, and God has something very special going on in each of our lives and each of our families. So you really get that sense of what it is to be a faith-filled community and what faith means to people in impoverished situations. It's also a growing experience. You know, the church is really growing. These dioceses represent 14% growth of parish-affiliated people. Over 2 million Catholics have become part of that church in our mission dioceses in the last 10 years. And it is one in which there's a growing sense of the minority populations as well, primarily people with Latin American roots, but also from Asia and other parts of the world.
And I know you've been involved in helping Catholic Extension has with all the devastation that happened last year with the hurricanes. Talk about the importance of having Catholic Extension there and to be able to have a community already and how they sort of draw support from that.
No, they really do. I came 10 years ago. I came when Hurricane Katrina was still part of the reality of Catholic Extension at this moment. And to go into these places that have been devastated, one of the powerful things I experienced, sometimes all you have is a concrete slab left where there was a church before the devastation, and yet people are drawn to those places, and they're drawn together in community. And the church, the spiritual community, becomes the center of both relief and supporting the basic needs of people, but they're also places of hope. You know, we can build again, we can do this again. And that's so much part of the church. You know, it's always renew my church, build it again. You know, the Spirit's at work no matter what the circumstances of our lives.
And you mentioned 96 mission. Also, that sounds like it's an incredible amount, and I'm sure there's some challenges that go along with that. Maybe if you could talk about that and how important it is to sort of work on those and have help from people sending in donations as well.
No, absolutely. It's a powerful thing to experience communities that are just driven by their faith. And all they need is a bit of help. This is not a dole. This is not people being kept in a subculture of poverty. These are the most highly aspirational people I've ever experienced in my life. And the energy around aspiration, you know, that we can create a world that is better for our families and for our children. You know, you really have families that are faith-filled, they've got strong work ethics, and they are people that really value family life. And when you see that, it's a very, very profound experience. And I really believe as American Catholics, one of the great things that we are doing is not only building up the future of the church, but these faith communities are one of those fundamental, basic communities out of which a culture forms. And if you want to build the future of our culture and our society, I think one of the great things that Catholic Extension offers is an opportunity to build up faith communities, which is one of the basic building blocks of our future.
Yeah. And on for another 5 years, maybe some of your hopes as you look forward to the next term of Catholic Extension.
You know, I'm a great believer in what it means to be hope-filled and be a source of hope. And I think in our country right now, when we're struggling with so many things, hope is still the grounding of what it means to be a faith-filled people, that we really believe that we can make this communities in which we live and the society in which we live somehow better because of what it means to bring faith-filled people together. Bring good people together and watch what happens.
There you go. Thank you so much, Father Jack, for joining us, and always a pleasure talking with you. CatholicExtension.org. Check it out. Find out all the work that they're doing, and hopefully make a donation as well.